What is poppin' YouTube? It is your boy Jesimein, and welcome to another commentary video. Today we're going to be talking about what you should be doing while waiting for 1.6. I've been watching a lot of PTS lately, and I've kind of been seeing where the meta is going as far as healing. That's a big factor that I've seen with DPS builds. The cooldown 60 seconds, which is way too long to survive in a DZ, and it kind of got me thinking like, okay, so even though builds are able to melt, if they're dying every 2 seconds because they can't pop a heal, that's gonna scar those who are using it. And I kind of see them leaning more towards amplifying their skill power to try to find a common ground like we did with specialized. They kind of punish that concept where you can't be a DPSer and have skill power because it's a commitment. I guess that was how the original plan was supposed to be, but it ended up being one or the other. So you were either a DPSer or you were a skill builder, but you still had the health pool. Now you can't have the luxury of specialized giving you all that extra skill power, which rendered skill builds useless because they couldn't hit hard. So now that there's like a 60-second cooldown on DPS builds, in contrast to a skill build who has a 9-second cooldown, it almost makes it, of course you're going to choose to survive. And now we have weapons like the Historian, where every time you land a bullet, another explosion happens that gives you 20% of damage of that person's skill power. So there's like things that you can kind of like flip-flop in between the two in order to make skill builds really, really, really good. And my advice to the people who are farming right now, I say go for skill build stuff right now. Go for electronic roll gear, go for skill power mods, all that stuff. Tactician's Authority, Reclaimer, grab it. Because I feel when the meta starts to make its transition, that skill builds will make the rise. Since they gave so much power to skills themselves in 1.6 from patches that I've seen, like I said, I haven't played it, but I've watched and I've seen numbers and I've seen it in action, and I've seen the difference between the gameplay of a person who's rocking amazing skill power versus one who's rocking amazing DPS. It's almost not even close because you're able to pop a full overheal while that person has to wait in order to even get a baby heal, and then when they do get a heal, it's like a fingernail's worth. So it's like you're waiting for nothing. So in taking that into consideration, you have to understand that when you go into this next meta, just like with any other meta, but I think this one's a little bit more serious because people who frown upon skill builds so much, like the main DPS crowd, them resulting into that realm is going to be a harder transition than the rest of them. So you got to keep open mind. Don't think of the next patch as a nerf or a buff or anything. Just think of it as a different way of playing, because technically the DPS really didn't get nerfed. Just the health did, and people are going to be upset about that and cry about it. But the thing is like, if the health wasn't nerfed, then what point would there even be like a Reclaimer support build or a skill build? There's no point for, no role for those builds if a DPS person is able to utilize it the exact same. We couldn't make a skill build that with good toughness that can hit extremely hard at like the Alpha Bridge specialized combos or Brett's Chest Savage combos, all those stuff with like booster shot and stuff. It gave so many different tools to one style of gameplay. I believe with the skills, being that there's a lot more skills to choose from. I mean, the turrets hit hard, the Secret Mines hit hard, the Sticky Bomb hits hard, the Reclaimer is amazing, the defibrillator, all these things and all these different skills, the pulse, these are things that you can use and help your team go manhunt, help your team farm, help your team do anything, and now you get choices since they finally are useful. So now that we have that established and now that that's understood, let me get into what I feel personally is going to be the meta, and I believe it's going to revolve around Tactician. It's going to revolve around, if Brett's Chest still works the same, it's going to revolve around Brett's Chest and Tactician. And it's not because you won't have to hit hard necessarily with DPS, it's because they won't be able to heal. So that was the biggest problem. The biggest problem in Division, it's not how hard you hit necessarily, because even if you had a weak build, it took a little while to kill them, but they'll just instantly heal right back, so it was almost useless. Now it's kind of like punishment for those who don't have skill haste or don't have a really good heal, because now they have to deal with running away, kind of like how you did in survival. That feeling you have when you play survival and your health goes down, you're like you panicking trying to get it back up. That's kind of the feeling they finally brought to the DZ, as far as I can see. I mean, like I said, I haven't played it, so I can't act like I know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm just going off of pure observation, just watching. And from both ends, I've watched the players that were shot at, and I watched the actual player I was watching, and I see how more important keeping your health up is now. So don't be surprised if you're going to see a lot of support stations, because people are going to start giving up a little DPS in order to keep themselves alive. They're going to have those 2 heals to pop. They're going to need it. But since critical save and stuff has been nerfed, it's going to be 10 times harder for that playstyle to prosper unless properly guarded by a team. And the reason, even though I know that it's a team game, so that basically means, well, why should I change it? If it's a team game anyways, it's still going to be effective. I get that. But in a game where people label builds greatness based off of how good it is solo is going to be 10 times harder, and unless you're a skill build. If you're a DPSer solo and everybody's shooting at you and you can't pop critical, well, you can pop critical save, but it's not as powerful as it was before because we don't have that much mitigation. It's going to be a tough time. It's going to finally be an amazing feat for you to go manhunt solo, and you got to have your strategy right, you got to have your build right, you got to have the situation right, all that stuff. So that's my opinion as far as what builds are going to be amazing. But honestly, I feel like the exotic weapons are going to have the biggest impact on the game as a meta, because of their unique abilities that revolve around different things. We have the Cassidy, who just hits hard because it shoots both bullets. We have the Historian that explodes after doing damage with the initial bullet. We have the Caduceus that gives you 1% health for every crit. And then we have the Valkyrie, which God knows what that's going to be at. I mean, we've seen the power of Valkyrie mixed with Seeker. I don't know how it's going to work after the nerf. I don't know what they're going to decide to keep with it. I just know that if you're going to go DPS, that's going to be the build you go with. But you'll probably go with it with electronics, or I would personally. But as far as I see, I'm not going to say DPS meta is dead. I will never say that, because hitting hard is hitting hard. But I will say that skill builds are actually where they need it to be. And I know there have been instances where skill power builds are stupid OP and they're frowned upon, but one thing you have to understand is if I commit to skill power, my skills should be as powerful as they can be. Just like when they commit to DPS, their gun hits as hard as they want it to hit. It shouldn't be a drop off just because I chose a different route of playstyle. And I think that's what they planned on doing when it came to this game. So right now, what am I doing? For those who are interested, I'm just running Lexington over and over and over. And the reason I chose Lexington is because survival is fun and gives you a lot of loot, but it's very time consuming for one thing. I can run Lexington like 6 or 7 times in an hour, no problem solo, get a lot of loot, get Phoenix credits and get credits, and also have a chance of getting the God Roll Barrett's chest in the process. So I see the most lucrative way of farming right now for skill gear would be Lexington. There probably are other ways to farm, but I mean, this is like the most common one I've used, and it's worked amazing for me. Like, I get everything I need to get without even having to worry about searching, going to Dark Zone, trying to find somebody to jack, to extract, all that stuff. No, I don't really play it right now. I'm not even really in the DZ right now, because I'm kind of at the point where we're exhausted of the patch and we've seen gameplay of the next one, so we're super eager to play it, so we don't want to do nothing but just farm. So this is like the Division's chill farming phase, where everybody just wants to collect their gear so that they'll have something to reroll in the next meta, or collect their money and get everything right, because they always end up bringing something to the table that we wished we would have held on to, because it was discovered after the PTS. So people think, oh, well, if this wasn't broken in the PTS, then there's no way that this will be a thing. No, I mean, look at 99% of the problems. They're because they passed the PTS, or there wasn't a PTS there in the first place. So things get broken afterwards. And the one thing you need to do is hold on to everything related to skill. You will thank me later, I promise. I'm not going to say no more on that. But for the most part, the perfect example is, look what happened with Provident. People who head on to Provident, they had so much fun because of something that it technically was broken, but it's just something fun to have. So get into the habit of keeping old gear until you step into the next realm and you find out it doesn't work or whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just wanted to let you guys know what to do on my end, what I would do as a grinder. Focus on collecting all skill power stuff and hold on to it with dear life, because this next meta is a tactician meta, boy, and I call it now. I may be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. I'm probably not wrong, but we're going to see, man. But for the most part, it's been real. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry that I haven't had no super gameplay clips coming out. It's kind of hard right now. You know, the DZ's on turn down mode right now. It's kind of everybody's just kind of finding their wave and getting prepared for the next meta. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to let me know if you guys have any other questions, any other theory crafting ideas. I got you guys. It's been real. I am out.